Good morning, everyone. We're really happy that you have decided to join our workshop on PR and marketing. So to briefly introduce, I think I'm Katsiaryna, or simply Katya, and I'm Belarusian, finishing my master degree in international law and European Union law in Lithuania and Vilnius. And this year I have joined with the think tank team, for which I have made a small research about PR strategies. And together with Alexandra, who have decent experience in PR area, we will try to provide you with some skills and ideas how to work for MEU in PR area.
Thank you, Katya. Hello, everyone. My name is Alexandra. I am a marketing graduate. I studied marketing and business communication in Romania and Czech Republic. Now I'm living in Germany. I'm working as a freelancer software tester and also as a marketing consultant for very small businesses, mostly local here. Something about me. So my professional dream or my dream career would be to give marketing consultancy for small businesses all around the world, but mostly in the countries um, of which I can speak the language. So in Romania, Germany, Austria, Spain, Italy, and that's it. And thank you for joining today. And we hope you like it. And right back at you, Katya, and we can start.
Yeah, thank you. So at the beginning, I will shortly introduce some of the ideas that may be useful for you. And after this, Alexandra will take the floor to also share her ideas from her personal experience, and we will have a kind of presentation and also kind of interaction. So do you see the presentation? Great. So we will start then. So at the very beginning, we would like to have, as I already told, a kind of interaction to let you also think about PR and to see what ideas you have about it. So what we would like you to do is just to go to menti.com. I think maybe some of you have already heard what is Mentimeter. If no, then it's a good idea to get to know more about it. And when you go to menti.com, you have to get the passcode to get into our Mentimeter to answer our question. So it's 6900-230. It's in the screen. If some of you have any questions or do not manage to deal with this, you can always text us and we will try to explain. If all is fine, then um, we will go then to Mentimeter and I will see your answers in the screen and we will just see your ideas, what you think about PR, and it will be a good idea to discuss them as well. So we're waiting for your answers. If someone of you forget the code, it's above the screen. Okay, good. We see the first results. Don't hesitate to ask what you think about it. Okay, I think someone have joined us now. If you would like to join us, we are working on Mentimeter. Okay, let's give probably the last minute. Those who have joined us, we are working on Mentimeter, where you can come, menti.com, and get the passcode, which is above the screen, and share your ideas. What is PR for you? What you think is important to take into account when you're working as part of marketing and PR team. Okay, I think we should finish soon. If someone wants, please share your results as soon as possible so that we will have also something to discuss and not to take too much time on this. Okay, by now we can see that some people answered that it's important to have honesty. Yeah, as I can understand, it's about sharing. Do not overestimate what you're preparing for. Do not give any fake information. And of course, it's really important. A focused target group, advertising strategies. My colleague will share with you strategies how to work on MEU's visual identity, marketing strategy. We have strategy, 2 times, confidence, professionalism, and communication. Okay, so thank you those who took part in our kind of small interaction. I think we can go back to the presentation to not lose time. Thank you again. All of your ideas, they're absolutely correct. And now we will also try to support them or to give you more understanding. So before, I will also ask you some questions to have just discussions. I don't want this to be as a seminar or a lecture. So the first step we obviously have, if we are working for PR and not only PR, any area we involved in is obviously planning. It is really important to stay organized. Maybe it sounds boring, but unfortunately you always have to be well prepared. You always have to think in advance about your plans and ideas. And so maybe someone would like to say, how do you try to stay organized? What do you use for this? I will be glad if someone would like to share, just 1 or 2 people. How do you try to deal with, let's say, all the deadlines you have, or when you're working for any event? What are your tips? Maybe someone brave.
Can I say?
Of course.
So for me personally, I use Google Sheets and Trello from all the examples. Yeah. I think I'm not a big fan of Google Sheets, but I think it's really helpful to keep you organized and such.
Yeah, great, exactly. And here is the list of only really several tools that may be useful for you. And yeah, Google Sheets is like mostly widespread and it's used even if we work for PR, it's really easy to organize the so-called content and editing calendar. So we understand that if you're working for PR, you have to think about too many posts, about different channels, including social media, including maybe any blogs or websites. And you have to follow all the deadlines. And you also have team that also have to be involved in different tasks. So in order not to miss all these tasks, all these deadlines, in order not to forget about editing, in order to follow whether you have published everything, whether you have edited everything, you definitely need to have at least a calendar where you can share it with your team members and you can all follow all the tasks that you have for some time. besides Google Sheets, yes, there is definitely a really good tool, which is Trello. It provides you different desk board, including, for instance, there is one for marketing. If you're interested, you can always look for it. And here you can just write down all the tasks you have. You can distribute them between your team members. You can follow their status, whether they're in process, whether they're edited. And yeah, it's really convenient. Some of the other tools I have mentioned here, such as Loomly, StoryChief, Facelift, Coverage Book, they all have really similar interface and they're easy to understand how to work with. So if you want to work further in PR and marketing, this could be a good chance to understand how to keep you organized, how to not miss anything. Because again, it's extremely important to not forget any details. Because PR is, especially if you are preparing MEU, for some time you may have too many information to share about accommodation, about all the calls for chairs participants, and always to remind about this. So in order not to fail in this, please remember that you have to have a good team first of all, of course, and to have as diverse as possible. That's also the second key, is about the team. I think Alexandra will tell a bit more about how to distribute the tasks. So my suggestion is only if you're working as, let's say, the head in the MEU team and you're thinking about people who can join your PR team, it should be distributed, it should be diverse in geographical factor, because if you have to spread information between different organizations to help you with promotions, it's definitely better to have people who may find contact in different countries with you, to know who to ask about advertisement of your event. And yeah, here I think we can go to the second. I don't think it will be also new for you to say that you always have to assess what you're doing, and it also relates to PR. Remember that PR is that area where you should, first of all, rely on your audience, on the people you're always in touch. And first of all, you have to always, in the process, I'm not talking about the end of your campaign, but even when you only started, then in 2 weeks, to see how effective all the communicative methods, all those channels that you use for your work are really effective. So for instance, you may have too many channels, like you might have website for your MEU, you might have Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, but then you see that, for instance, website do not really attract people. And here you should think whether you really need it, or maybe you should then pay more attention to Instagram and Facebook where the activity is higher. So it's important to not spend too much time on that sources that may be not so well effective, and try to concentrate them on those that you see can bring you more efficiency if we're talking about audience and people who may be interested in your events.
I'd like to add something.
Yeah, of course.
On this topic, you can also have in mind the moment of your organizing process. For example, connected to the website example, which Katsik gave us. The website can be an important tool when you are attracting the participants to join the conference, to fill in the form. So the form for participating can be, of course, connected to your website, and then you will have to promote more your website. And that could be a point in time when you focus on that. But yeah, mostly we suggest you to focus on social media, because that's where the interaction happens. On websites, people normally just go, watch it, get the information they need, and that's it. But on social media, you also have the interaction advantage, about which we will talk later. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you, Alexandra. So, and yeah, it's really important to assess your campaign. For instance, you have already published several posts. You think that MEU should be as soon as possible. And you should always think about how successful your communication and PR strategies are. So these are only examples of questions that you also should take into account and think yourself. So you should of course evaluate your, if we're talking about social media, your, let's say, posts, and see, for instance, what was it, something special in the one that was most successful regarding comments or just likes? Was there some information that was really attractive? Maybe it was any photo or video. Try to evaluate all the factors that may lead to more successful representation of your event. Also, of course, read all the comments. They may be regarding, they're usually about the presentation in general, but there may be also something to take into account for your further PR. And always try to answer participants' comments and questions. It's not new, but it also gives a good representation of your organization if you try to be as involved with the audience as possible. Yeah. So also try just to think how successful your content is and whether there is something really attractive in the more successful of the information that you provided, and which platform attract more people, which is also should be taken into account. So just do not forget to pay attention to what you're publishing and how do you interact with the audience, and just always assess. That's important. And so my last part about PR and strategies is just some tips how to work. Some of these tips that I absolutely sure you already know and probably use in your daily life. So about, if we're talking PR, it's important to have hashtags. Of course, not every MEU, not every event in general may have any branded hashtags. However, it's really helpful, first of all, for networking. If people can find, for instance, themselves through designed hashtag and get to know each other before they come, for instance, as well as just to publish with hashtags, is obviously also can attract more people. So it's good. And I also mentioned relevant global trends. What I mean is that sometimes we always know there are different challenges, there are different campaigns, and if you think they're relevant, so if we are talking about MEU, that's obviously something related to politics or the European Union or for youngsters, and you think it is a good idea to pay attention to your event, if we're talking about MEU again, so you can also try to follow them. You can also ask your people, your audience to take part in. That's always can be useful. But please also assess how relevant it is for your event. Do not try to follow everything you may find. Yeah, interaction. I already mentioned that you have always have to check what your people think about, answer their comments, and interaction also means that you do not have to leave your social media for a really long time without any content. We understand that, yeah, the most activity is when we organize a MEU, but still it's important also to think about any kind of information. For instance, MEU finished. Okay, let's talk about EU institutions again. So just to not live there for months without any content, and to keep your audience attention, think about any kind of content that may be interesting for them and just publish. And of course, try to use different tools such as quizzes, polls. For instance, those of you who follow MEU accounts, when we were unfortunately on quarantine and there were no simulations in real life, there were too many who joined the so-called MEU bingo, and it was also a good way to stay interactive and to share with people the results, so which was a good idea. Yeah, and about pictures, of course, you should not forget about using licensed photography to not have any problems further. And if you think about creating your own images, I think Canva is the most popular one, and I think many people have heard about it. And also Pictochart, it has also similar interface if you would like to create any images. Yeah, remind your followers about your social media accounts. That's true. You should not hesitate when you make advertisement of your event in Facebook to remind that you can also follow our social media accounts on Instagram or give a link to your website. It's always good to remind people that they may get information from different networks and that it might differ sometimes. So do not hesitate to do this. And time frames. So maybe some of you have heard, but people have conducted even investigations when it is the best time to publish any new information. So it's always interesting to know that the best time for publishing new information is usually considered to be between midday 12 a.m. and till 3 p.m. So if you publish information really late, like at 9 p.m. or even 8, 7, it may be not so many people to pay attention to it. And if you publish it really too early, it will also not be seen by too many people, and then it will be lost for many of your followers. So also try to publish information in the time when you see that many people are really online, that they may find information at exactly this moment, that they may see it right now when they're sitting on their social network. So the daytime is considered to be the most successful. But of course, it's only just as a suggestion and just the results of one investigation conducted in Instagram and Facebook. But maybe it will be also useful for you. And here I give the floor to Alexandra. I will stop finish.
Thank you. Before we go forward, I would like to ask you, where have you seen MEUs? So on which social medias have you already interacted with MEUs? Can talk or write in the chat and I will read the answers. So for example, you definitely saw MEUs on Facebook.
Also Instagram.
On Instagram, yeah.
Anywhere else?
LinkedIn.
Mm-hmm.
And I've heard that some of them are on Twitter, but I personally don't use Twitter as much, so I don't know. I haven't checked.
Okay. Anything else? TikTok, Snapchat, anything else? Why not? Why do you think the MEUs are not on TikTok or Snapchat?
Good morning, everyone.
Hi.
Well, regarding my opinion, I think that MEU should be published only on those social media where there are a lot of people and students from the student area. For example, if you go to TikTok or if you go to something like that, some people can take it serious. They can make video about that. They can just publish against the simulation. I mean, not from the European Union or from the European Union, because there are some people that have a lot of free time and they would like to waste it by just bothering some people. For me, I agree to have it maybe on Facebook. Instagram, I don't agree a lot, because Instagram, it's for photos, it's for a lot of personal, we may say, profiles. It's a little bit so personal, we may say, not like Facebook, which is the most popular one. I think that it should be more published on those social media where there is a big society, I mean common society, not personal societies. I hope that you understood my point, because I organized a lot of international events and I know well, for me, participants are the most important thing, not the organizing team. When I organize with the organizing team, we can change the organizing team. So every year, just to, I don't know, we work for people, not for us. For us, we increase the experience, we learn something from them. But for me, it's to enjoy with participants. I think that Facebook is the most important thing, with, of course, the website of Beta Europe and MEU. I hope that every MEU will have maybe a specific website for that. LinkedIn, I agree with LinkedIn, because it's one of the best social media. Yeah, this is my opinion. And I'm happy to see you again, Alexandra, after MEU. Yes, yes?
Yeah,
Yeah.
happy to see you also.
Yeah.
So this question, I asked this question to give food for thought for you, because in social media, in marketing, you always have to think about your participants. You have to think about the platform where you find it. You have to think about how the platform, how you can provide your information on a specific platform to specific people. And sometimes they fit perfectly, but sometimes they don't. For example, on Snapchat, Snapchat is full of young people, is full of teenagers, students. And then you might think, yeah, okay, we can promote MEU there. But you also have to think, is the content you are providing interesting enough for them? What are these participants searching exactly on Snapchat? Are they going on Snapchat to get educated? Or are they going on Snapchat to find out about European opportunities? That's a question you need to answer for yourself or research. And I will go now back to the presentation. Let's see. It works. I'll make it big. Well, yeah. Okay. And I want you to start with why and set your goals in case you are thinking about organizing an MEU or being part of an organizing team. Firstly, why? Why do you want to organize MEU and what do you want to accomplish? Oh, wait a second. Yeah. So you might think about some reasons for yourself. You want to gain some project management experience. You want to gain leadership experience. You want to be better and learn more about the European processes. Then you think about your future participants. What do you want to give them? What do you want to accomplish by having these participants joining your project? Do you want to educate them? Do you want to give them a fun and new experience? Do you want to bring them to your city? And then regarding your environment, do you want to make your university famous? Or do you want to make your city well known? Do you want to help the local businesses around you through this project? So many questions. Be honest to yourself. These are really just questions you ask for yourself to identify your main and pure motivation, which will drive you in the hardest moments. So make a list, make a dream board, like I have here. You can make a dream board for your project and answer questions for yourself. Then if you want, you can share them with other people who have more experience. And definitely it's the number 0 step. And then I wanted to tell you about a specific communication strategy and how we talked before, on which platform should you exist and be active. If you did your step 0 thoroughly and you spent enough time on it and you gave it enough thought, some of the answers from here will come from your initial research or your initial inside research. As I said before, you should exist and be active on the platforms where your audience already is and on the platforms which actively support and encourage the kind of content you want to give. In our case, it's educational content, information, also some entertainment, because we're not just writing laws, we're also having some fun. Welcome to whoever joined now. And then after deciding on the social networks we want to be on, we ask ourselves if we have to have different content for different social networks. If something we post on Facebook should also go on Instagram. Mostly yes. In my case, for MEU Spain, it happens. Well, we do this often, but is content which goes on Instagram also valuable for LinkedIn? Probably not. On LinkedIn, I would suggest more thorough research, articles, interviews with other people, information about the European Union, information about the other MEUs, creating connections. That's what LinkedIn is all about. Sending messages, private messages, invitations, groups. That's also a thing. And I wanted to ask you about YouTube. What's your opinion about MEU and YouTube? And I added here a little joke because I'm in Germany and this video is not available in your country. Have you seen MEUs on YouTube? No. I'll try to open.
MEU Strasbourg is on YouTube.
And what kind of content are they sharing?
Well, they published all of their webinars this year. And previously, I think they had some videos from the simulations and some other clips, but mostly from the simulation.
And what's your opinion about it? Did you watch them? Did you watch the videos?
Well, I'm a part of the team, so it's a bit different. The question is if others watch it.
Yeah, what are your views?
Of the webinars, because they were streamed live, that's something that worked quite well. But for the other ones, I don't know how effective that is.
And can I ask you, why did you do the webinars live on YouTube and not on Facebook, for example?
That's a good question. I don't really remember though.
So my initial thought was that you are probably established on Facebook. You have there enough people who hit like and things like this. One of the reasons to make a webinar on YouTube could always be it's easier. The platform is made for video, so that's the whole point of it. Another reason could be to make your audience acquainted to another channel you have by gently pushing them towards that channel. Just like on Facebook, you could share an article you have on LinkedIn, but they have to read it on LinkedIn. And an effect of this would be that they find out that you also have LinkedIn, and that they find another type of content, and that you are there. So no idea if these were the reasons. Might have been, might not.
Yes, we wanted to do them on Facebook. I remembered now. Yeah, we wanted to do them on Facebook, but then there were some technical difficulties with the first one, so we had to last minute react and start it on YouTube. So that worked well. And after that, we thought exactly what you said, that it's a good idea to draw attention of our followers to this other channel that we're using, so YouTube, which I think it was a good idea.
Yeah, sounds great.
May I comment on this point, Alexandra?
Yeah, of course.
Personally, I am against to have the simulation on YouTube or to have it live, because it will cause maybe some problems with the real, so EU, probably. And of course, with the consent of participants. There are participants that don't agree so to be published so on social media, because as Biljana mentioned so yesterday from MEU, so Black Wave Guards, that some participants vote against that they don't know what's going on at all. It's like they come and just they vote. This is it. Also, the misunderstanding between some chairs and some, as we say, participants, because some chairs, they promote the grudge and the rancor during so the MEU and after the MEU. It's like they don't promote the friendship, and yeah, we will talk about that maybe in the other part of social events. I think that the organizing team may organize webinars online, maybe some educating platforms there, every single step that participants and chairs and commissioners should follow, new information about the proposals, new information, for example, about climate change, CO2 emissions, anything so interesting. But regarding the simulation to avoid, as we are going to beta 2025, I think that this is something that people should vote for. So I think that all beta or all MEUs should agree about whether they have some simulations so live on YouTube or not. Well, I'm giving this point of view just to prevent any problems in the future regarding my MEU experience. Yes, and this is my opinion. Thank you.
Thank you. I think we can all agree that this is just the beginning of a long online road for MEUs. What happened this year was more testing than doing sometimes. And from here on, there's a lot of place for improvement, and there's a lot of place for mixing online with offline. As yesterday was discussed in the other workshop, there are so many advantages of having online events. There are so many participants which don't have the possibility to go to Strasbourg, go to Portugal, go somewhere else to participate in such an event. But of course, preparation regarding live, I'm also skeptical about such live events, maybe recorded and then edited and then posted, or posting the key elements from the project and so on. Let's go forward.
Sorry, I forgot some point before. I don't like misunderstandings, and what I would like to have in all MEUs is like they clarify all the roles, so before or after that. So that means that participants should come together and say, I, for example, represented this country. I acted like this, like in the movie. I would like, for example, journalists that are in the conference, they come and they ask conference, like I would like to have the MEU carpet, for example, where participants enjoy the role and they represent themselves and they represent those countries. It's like they have to know what are the external relations, who deals with those relations. So in the country, what are the necessities of that country in the EU, outside the EU, without offending, for example, third countries, without talking about other countries just like that because they want to talk. Of course, we support everyone to talk because this is a platform of communication, and communication has got different levels. Nobody is perfect. But what I want to say is that chairs, participants, commissioners, the organizing team have got the same level so in MEU because they all learn. What I want to say finally is that if there is a possibility to explain the roles, if you represent, for example, Italy, Portugal, France, so this is the country, what is Italy? So different steps. For example, the minister of Italy, what points should follow? So like this. And I hope that in social events or in MEU or during just the PR, so preparation, there should be different publications about that. So this is what I want and I'm happy just to be in this MEU symposium because I think that this is the only one opportunity for all of us as MEU experts, or maybe some new that are here, to learn and to know, because we are all for the best. I think we cannot I don't like the idea when people would like just to promote their projects without referring to the mistakes, because if you need people to praise you, and if you need a lot of likes, if you need to make people happy, you have to listen to them. You need to understand whether they like or whether they dislike. For example, representing countries. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. The time is a little bit limited. We can talk more about it in the end. I think we'll have some time for Q&A and other comments. Thank you. I wanted to also give you some tips about visuals and logo. Have here some for you. And I'm happy some of you have video because I want to see your reactions for the next ones. So get ready. Here is an Institute for Oriental Studies, I think. So this is an initial logo, which was shared with the world. And then someone thought it's not so appropriate and did a redesign. Then I have one more. It looks like a bakery, a little bit dangerous. That was my thought about it. And then again, a redesign with the muffin, which signifies also safety. No, you'll be safe when taking stuff out of the oven. And another one, safe place, and again a redesign. What I want to say with these logos is mistakes are the easiest thing to do. There's nothing easier than making a mistake. And when you create your own logo, or when you create your own project, when you create your own little presentation, in your heart is the best. There's absolutely nothing wrong with it. You love it to your heart. You would defend it in front of the worst enemies. But you need to keep an open door for feedback and for change. And I want you to take this into consideration when creating your logo for a future project, or for redesigning a logo if you already have an MEU going on. Use symbols. There are so many European Union related symbols which you can use. Use your location, what's specific for your project. Think about them and make them into little symbols, create something new. Use the color wheel. There are colors which go very well together and colors which don't. It's a natural thing. Then, of course, keep it simple, keep it meaningful, go back to your why, go back to the symbols which you thought about, which you discovered. And in my opinion, ask for professional help. If your project turns out to be successful, and even if not, it will be successful, the logo will stay with it. Even if it stays only in your memory, it will be there. If you can invest a little bit of time and also a little bit of money in it, if it will grow and be successful, it will be something you will be proud of. And have, of course, this into account: memorability and timelessness. And I have 3 no-nos. Don't be a copycat. Get inspired by others. Get inspired by other logos. Look what other people are doing. Is there a color scheme absolutely everybody is doing? Then ask yourself, would it be a good fit for me? Or would it be better for my project to be different? Because different can be better. Don't try to be too trendy. If the color of this year is pink, you might be pushed into making a pink logo. But what if next year the color is yellow, and then orange, and then blue? This year your logo will look very nice, very modern, but next year it will be obsolete. And then don't settle for a low quality logo just because you need to save money. There are ways to create or to get ideas for a logo which don't cost a fortune. Agencies, of course, make logos for hundreds of euros or thousands. There are design students, which I'm sure will be happy to help you, which I'm sure have enough time to invest in a project like this, which I'm sure they need to create their portfolios. An MEU is a wonderful project. I think design students would not have a problem to be connected to such work. They would be maybe happy to do such a work, to have it in their portfolio. Maybe they need to do it for their final thesis. There's just opportunity everywhere. There are platforms with freelancers like Fiverr, where people who are learning design also offer these services. And for example, 10 euros, you can get a logo which might give you an idea of what you want to get. Because we are not all design experts. If we would all be, I think this world would be a more beautiful place. There are people who do it better, and in my opinion, we should give that to them. And then I have something about hashtags. I'm a fan of hashtags. I use them for MEU Spain. And in the MEU world, I think it's very common to use a location hashtag. And I wanted to show you this one. Imagine that your MEU is happening here. This is a city in Wales. And you're thinking about your strategy and like, oh, every single MEU has their hashtag with MEU Spain, MEU Strasbourg, MEU Lisboa, yeah? But again, if everyone is doing it, it doesn't mean that it might be a good fit for you. Think about it. When you have to make a decision, don't always go with the group. It might be good for you sometimes, but sometimes it will not be good. And this is just a very open example and simple example to show you, which I wanted to show you. In this case, of course, you could think about an alternative, like just Wales, MEU Wales, or you could think about another name connected to the university, connected to the specific topic you want to talk about in your MEU, or whatever else comes to your mind. And my last tips and tricks are coming from my work. I'm the team leader for the social media in MEU Spain. I'm taking care of the visuals also for us. And for your future project or for your actual project, I have some easy fixes or some easy content tips, which will not cost you a lot of time, will help you put your team more together, more in place. And you will not have to give, as a team leader, for example, you will not have to give instructions all the time with templates or with series, with post series. This is one example which we have, a series about learning Spanish, because MEU Spain will happen in Spain next year. And here's the template on the left side. I created it in Canva. It's what I'm mostly using for this. And here are the instructions, a little piece of text in Spanish, then the translation in English, some tips and tricks. All the pictures are already there, some little elements, the logo, and your social media officer or other people in your team can just go into the Canva folder, find it, add some information, download, post, write the text, and that's it. They don't have to go through this entire process of thinking what we should post, searching for the content again, checking if it's appropriate, going through to the leader with the idea. So this is just, it's more than half done for your team. Then this is another series about important days. Here's the celebrated day. So the person will just write, add a picture which is relevant. Then here a little picture and again the logo. Another series when we reach milestones for followers or likes on Facebook. In the future for participant registrations, we will also use this one. Then a series about the location, the city where the project is supposed to be. Of course, it can be a series about the country, it can be a series about the continent, it can be a series about people, the team. Like I have it here. Here was one of the templates we used to present the team. And now for Instagram stories, for interaction, for keeping the project alive, some interactive stories with messages, this is a spoiler, this is gonna come soon, with adding pictures, resharing, and so on. We'll check the time, not a lot of time. And we hit a little bit these topics. how and when to engage with your participants. When there's not much to say, here are some topics. Promote the location, some general information, promote your team, ask questions, make games. Then during the MEU, my personal favorite are competitions. This was awesome in MEU, Yash. I remember we had best speaker, most convincing person, best dressed, or maybe a photo competition can happen. Stuff to keep your people interested, active, and even if the event is offline, you can also have them active online, because let's be honest, we are online all the time. We take breaks, we live in the real world for a little bit, but then we go online, we share what happened. We want to see what happened, we want to see what we did, memories, and so on. And after the MEU, some suggestions here, written or video testimonials, or video conference with the participants afterwards, small groups or bigger groups, cooking party, what I've heard the other day, and things like this. And regarding the team, for me, this is the most important aspect. And the greatest tip I ever received and I started using is to push your team, make it easy for them, but make it also hard. For example, we in MEU Spain created the templates. We thought about the picture series. This was already making easy for the other team members. They just need to use the template. They can search their own information, do some research, but it's not such a full process that it will take them hours of their time and it will be maybe boring or they will become uninterested. That's the easy part. The hard part is to push them. Give your team members what they want to do, talk to them, get feedback from them, give them what they would like to do. For example, someone really likes Instagram. You can give them the Instagram account, tell them the tasks, and they think that's over. They got what they wanted. That's work for me 2 hours a week, and that's it. But have always an extra task, something they don't want to do. Like, for example, write an article for LinkedIn. They don't want to do it. They think they cannot do it. But they will do it because it's a task. It will push them. It will demotivate them in the beginning, but when the result will come, it will be better for them. Especially your task as a team leader or as a coordinator or as a project manager is to step up your game and lift your team. There's nothing more important than that, in my opinion. When your team will be happy and will grow with you, you will also grow, your project will grow, and success will also come. And I have here, in the end, trust, but check anyway. Trust that your team is doing a good work. You trained them. You told them what to do. Brief properly. Always ask twice if they understood everything. There's no harm in asking. There's no harm in giving 5 more minutes to give a proper brief. And then when the work is done, check, because it's your responsibility. Your team is your responsibility. And of course, when your team has success, you have success. When your team makes something wrong, you also make something wrong. But that's why you're there, to fix it. Because everybody makes mistakes, you will make mistakes, they will make mistakes. That's why we check and we try to be better and have also a plan B. Plan B is important. And in the end, a little bit of motivation. This is one of my favorite quotes. If you wait for perfect conditions, you'll never get anything done. Start doing, start talking, ask questions, interact with people on this topic. If you have any questions, text me anytime on Facebook, ask me my email. I am always available to ask your questions. I'm always curious about new projects. I always want to hear new ideas, to share new ideas. But it's your responsibility to start doing something for you, like it was in the beginning with the why, do something for you, for the participants, and for the environment you live in. Because that's how we are all going to be better. That's how we're all going to grow. That's how we're hopefully going to make this world a better place. I think that was the last slide of my presentation. Thank you. I think it's time for questions. Or Katya, would you like to add something?
I think we probably have presented to our participants who had joined us with those tips we have prepared. So I think it's time for any questions or any comments probably to give us if you have any, or just any feedback maybe, anything to discuss if you have also something to share.
Can I ask a question? I would like to ask you both, what is the most difficult thing in PR in general that you have faced? So we can avoid it.
I think the most difficult aspects in PR are the ones you cannot control, because there's this part which you can control, which you have next to you, and then there's something which might happen and it just surprises you. And in this case, I would suggest having a plan, an emergency plan. But yeah, for example, this pandemic situation was very surprising. And we tried to find solutions on the way. So, and we didn't have any plan before. So we didn't think about, oh my God, we are trying to make a project, face-to-face project. What if in 2 years, a pandemic will come? Nobody thinks about this. This is the spontaneity. This is the unknown, which can always happen. There are things you can expect and things you cannot. And when you cannot expect anything, just sit with yourself or sit with your team, both in the best case, and talk about it, try to find a solution.
And do you support, this is another question, do you support whether the PR team invites maybe some friends to join the team, or it's like they let it for the application?
I'll answer this question after Katya answers the first one, okay?
Okay, I will also answer this question. My position is really close to what Alexandra has said. So as I do not have much experience in PR, but I think that one of the most important and really not easy task is to get a team that you can work with. It relates not only that the expert in PR, that they can work with social media, but first of all, people who can be ready for any challenges, because as it was mentioned, this may happen in any situation when when even your well-prepared plan doesn't work. So they should be ready for any new ideas how to work with media. They should be ready for any new strategies. And that's why I think it's really important to also have as much as possible interaction with your team, to get to know people before you decide, you make decision about joining them or no. So to get interviews, get to know about also their social network sometimes may be useful a lot. So I think, yeah, that's one of the main steps, is probably to get as good team as possible.
And regarding the second question, if I understood correctly, you're asking if I agree on having people join the team which are friends.
Yeah, or acquaintances. That means that we invite them, we have MEU, we know them that they are active or they have experience. So we invite them to join the team. Or we let it to everyone, so by applying to the PR team. Which one, for example, do you favorite?
So, in my opinion, there should always be a process of applying for a job. Being part in an MEU team is like having a job also. It's serious, it brings responsibilities. There should be a job description, there should be a proper application form, an interview, and if the person who wants to join is an acquaintance or a friend, that should not play any role. In my opinion, I forgot the word. I need to Google. What the person can do, what their features are. If someone help me.
I think the plan, or maybe what he should follow. Yes, you mean?
No. The skills. Persons should join teams based on their skills, not on friendship or acquaintances. That's my opinion. Any other questions? You can also write them if you don't want to.
If I may, I just wanted to make some notes on what was the last question, because
Carlos, yeah.
Yeah, that's me. Because in the end, we are both in the same team in MEU Spain, and in my case, I am currently Director General. So I mean, I think this question is mostly related to human resources more than PR itself. But I would like to just to say that, for example, I didn't meet Alexandra before. Before MEU Spain, she applied for with a form, she filled it, and I made an interview, and based on her profile, I select her. And so are the rest of the officers. We took into consideration that, of course, marketing and all these kind of things, it needs concrete skills to be doing a good job. And in that sense, I believe that, and I agree with everything that it was already said, that it's necessary to look for good skills and doing like a formal application in that sense. Just wanted to add that.
And on this topic, now that Carlos is here, I think we can also say that I am searching for someone to join my team. I have a job description for what I'm searching for in a team member for us for MEU Spain. If you are interested in marketing PR in MEUs, if you would like to gain some experience, drop me a message. I will send you the job description, and I will want a CV from you and a little motivation why you would like to join our team. We can definitely have an interview, and hopefully I'll have someone new in my team. If someone from you is interested, of course. Any other questions?
If it's possible, I would like to add something to the previous question. I agree with you both, because hiring people should be based on the skills. And why I ask this question? Because in general, not in MEU, there are people that hire people or just accept them because they know them or because they are friends. Yeah. I think that this is the best way. So people should forget about that person, even if they know each other, and just select him or her. So regarding the CV and the application, I mean, not emotionally. I agree with you. Thank you for your answers.
Thank you. We just hope that this is the case everywhere, and in our private lives also. We all, I think, are desiring a proper job and a proper employment journey, let's say. Any other questions? Katya, would you like to add something?
Yeah, I have a question.
Yes, please.
So you were talking about whether to use TikTok and Snapchat or not. So my question is, for the next MEU Spain, will you use TikTok and Snapchat?
I cannot say if. It's definitely an open topic in my head. I am keeping an eye on what's happening there, and if it develops in the way we need it for sharing the kind of content we have. For now, we are not using it, and on the very short run, we don't plan on using it, but things might change. I see people smiling. Do you want to see MEU Spain on TikTok and Snapchat?
I would love to see it, for example, but I have a question to Katya if I can. Katya, please, which do you favorite Google Sheet more so than the other ones for the wholesale procedures? So which one do you favorite? I think that you have got so already experience so in PR, and I hope that you just tell us your opinion.
Okay, thank you. So as I am a member of Beta think tank team, we are using Google Sheets. However, working for another event not related to MEU and Beta, I was working with Trello, which provides you different dashboards in accordance with your priorities. It can be either for marketing special, like for social media, it can be for team management. And I found Trello like pretty useful, and it is possible to join it free. For instance, some of the similar programs, they can be provided for you only if you pay. So of course, it's not relevant for everyone. Not everyone is ready to pay for using any tools if you're not working, especially in professional area. So by now I see Trello is probably the most convenient. It's really easy to understand how to deal with this, and possible to distribute all the tasks, to follow all the deadlines. So from my opinion, it's good.
I agree, and I would like to add that I think a very, very good combination in project management and a good combination for a project like an MEU could be Trello and Slack for communicating with the team. So if you don't know the platforms, Google them, or go on YouTube, or just make an account and go around it. It's very, very easy to learn them. The first time I had this experience with both of them at the same time for a project management position. I joined them, and in less than 40 minutes, 30 minutes, everything was perfectly clear, and you understand very easily how they work. And there are many features which help you be organized and efficient. And Trello can be connected to Google Drive, so you can link directly documents there. It's very, very useful, I find. And I think we have 3 more minutes, maybe one more question if someone has it. I'm hearing a microphone going on, but I think it's Katya.
Yeah. Or maybe someone has any comments, maybe something to add.
I have a final question, and thank you for making this discussion very open. It's amazing. Do you have or have you got previously like advisors to the PR team, for example, professors from university or those that work in management? And who would you select so more? Do you select those that have backgrounds in management and business administration, for example, administration in general, or human resources, as Carlos has mentioned. Yeah, I think that, yeah, and the last question regarding the age, is there like an age limit? Do you support that? Or do you think that the age should be until, for example, 35 years old? Because I don't agree with those that are, for example, 18 or 19 or even 20 or 21, because they don't have that much experience so in this area, so they can somehow disrupt the project. Do you support more graduate students, undergraduate, PhD, those that do researches, or maybe that work in management in general? I hope that this question will be useful.
Regarding advisors, I did not ask for any advisor. I don't know, Carlos, did you have any external advisors for MEU Spain?
You mean for a concrete team or for the selection
process?
process?
I guess for PR and marketing.
No, not really. I mean, again, this is mostly a question of HR, which I think that we should consider for next MEU Symposium to have an HR workshop.
Yeah.
But definitely responding to that, I believe that it's good that in case that some team it's mostly new, like the majority of the people are quite new, it's good to have to set an advisor, an external advisor of the team, so they can give them some tips. But if the head is quite experienced, as I believe Alexandra is, I don't think it's actually necessary. So yeah, about that, I think I answer quite fine the question.
Katya, what about you? Did you have experience with external advisors?
No, I don't have experience, and I also want to add to, I forgot who asked the question. So at 16, at 4 p.m. there will be a good workshop that it will be also possible to address all these issues and to discuss open space technologies. So I think that probably as time is running, unfortunately, we probably should give some time before the next workshop, which is in 15 minutes only.
Yeah. And 1 minute about the last question. I don't want to leave anything open about the age limit. I am a fan of inclusion. I support inclusion. And when it comes to age limits, I don't believe in them. And somebody very young can be very experienced, or somebody very old can be very little experienced. A solution for this or for future projects could be an assessment of the experience and creating teams or creating separate rooms for newbies or for mixed newbies with experience or for just experienced people, because I can understand the experienced ones want to gain more. Sometimes experts like to teach other people, but they also like to learn and become better. And sometimes they need the environment provided for them to grow. So I would plead for mixed groups and according to the needs of the group, not necessarily according to a list from 18 to 21, 21 to 30, and so on. Hope this answers your question. And I think the time is up. Thank you. Okay, I'll say first, thank you for joining. It was nice having you. Thank you for all the questions. I hope we managed to open some new perspectives for you. And thank you.
Yeah, I would also like to say a big thank you to everyone who have decided to join us at the morning, which was a bit early maybe for someone, especially if we're talking about different time zones. But it was really nice to have all of you, to have discussions with you, to answer your questions, and we really hope that you also gain some experience you can use further in your activities. We'll probably see most of you in different workshops. We hope you will enjoy them as well.
Yeah, and feel free to contact us, really. Yeah.
Thank you, Alexandra and Katsiaryna. It was really nice. Thank you for taking the time to all of you to be here with us today. And I hope you will enjoy the last 4 remaining workshops of the symposium tonight, or three, I think, I don't know. Anyways, we will continue at 12 with the social event workshop. So if you are interested in that, please be very welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Enjoy
Bye.
your Sunday.